So once again, it's Nolan Knight joining us from Richmond, Virginia, as the Cavaliers get set for a really big matchup against Missouri in the Gator Bowl. Of course, we keep up with Missouri very closely. We want to get a look at the Virginia Cavaliers going into this matchup. First of all, thank you so much for joining us, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm stoked. I mean, what a great studio you guys have over there. I'm jealous. Y'all are. I feel like I'm on the big time now. This is cool.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. We got the show rolling early August, and
yeah, we're 4 months in.
Yeah, 4 months in. It's already in bowl season. It's absolutely insane. Take a look at this game as we break down this Gator Bowl. And we've talked a lot of Missouri here on this show. And now as we get ready for this game, what are some of the big things about Virginia from this season and the way they play towards the end of the year that you're really looking forward to as they close out the year in the Gator Bowl?
Yeah, it's just been a year to remember for UVA. I mean, you think of the past 3 seasons under Tony Elliott, and it's been ugly at times. Of course, they had the tragedy a few years back that kind of set them back when Tony Elliott kind of first got on campus. And then, they were picked to finish 14th in the preseasons at ACC Media Days. And there wasn't a whole lot of, positive outlook. The one positive going into the season when we were looking at things was, how manageable the schedule was, that if UVA put out a competitive team, then we thought there was a possibility that Virginia was going to be able to maybe make a bowl game for the first time since 2019. And then they surprised us all by winning a couple of games that, folks never thought they would. They beat Florida State when they were ranked 9th. And at the time, that was a huge win. Looking back now, maybe it doesn't mean as much because of the fall off that Florida State had. But at the time, it was kind of the turning point where, the fans even around Charlottesville and Richmond started to buy into the team. And as the season progressed, you saw that in the stands and the energy around the stadium. And what Virginia did really well was just finding a way to win games. It wasn't always pretty. They have 3 overtime wins. Their win against Washington State came with the safety with under 2 minutes to play, so essentially another overtime game for them. So they just kind of found ways to get wins on what was a manageable schedule. And obviously, I think the ACC would have liked if Virginia had won the ACC championship so they could have them in the mix instead of Duke. But it wasn't all that surprising that Virginia lost to Duke because they haven't been that dominant team, but they found ways to win games, and they finished the year with 9 wins and with an opportunity to maybe win a 10th.
Yeah, we'll talk about that ACC championship
or 11th.
game.
I think they already have 10 wins. But
I think they are. Yeah. We'll talk about the ACC championship game here in a minute. I'll go on record. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, Virginia fans probably don't want to talk about it. But you mentioned the Florida State game, and I'll go on record. This is probably one of the best field stormings I've ever seen. The history of field storms. Yeah. I mean, immediately after the ball hit the ground, they were already on the field. And you could say that was the game that did derail Florida State's season. So I don't want to take away anything from that win. But when you look at these good teams, a lot of times it does come down to the quarterback play. What have you made from Chandler Morris this year?
Yeah, when he plays well, Virginia plays well. I mean, the entire offense kind of relies on him. Now, they have a great running back as well in Jamari Taylor that I think helps Morris out. His numbers don't really jump off of the screen at you, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, but he's nearly thrown for 3,000 yards. He's had a really impressive season, and is the large part of the reason that UVA has had so much success this year. He was at North Texas last year, kind of an underrated guy in the transfer portal. Virginia got him. And as we all know, if you have a good quarterback, you have a chance to win games. And that's the case with Chandler Morris. He can extend the play really well. Doesn't have a whole lot of rushing yards this season, but he's got a couple of big runs. Like, he's got the ability. I think he had a 42-yard rush earlier this year, 28, 18-yard rush. So although he's not known primarily as a scrambler, his ability to extend the play has put Virginia in some good situations. But then there's been some times where he's extended a play and things have gone poorly. So Virginia does well if he does well, and they struggle if he doesn't do so well, as what we saw in the Wake Forest game that Virginia had, their surprising loss at the end of the year.
Yeah, you both touched on that ACC Championship game. Let's revisit that for just a heartbeat here. I think a lot of people, and maybe if you're giving some truth serum to those in the ACC offices, they really did probably want either a different matchup or Virginia to win that game. What was it about not only this league but that game that felt that the entire league felt a little off, to where it seemed like for a heartbeat until Miami got in that there might not even be a team to represent in the college football playoff.
Yeah, well, I think the big problem with the whole thing was the ACC's tiebreakers.
Yes,
the fact
sure.
that Duke even had the opportunity to play for an ACC championship with 5 losses was just ridiculous. And not to get into the tiebreaker too much, but they didn't play any of the other teams other than Virginia that they were tied with, and somehow, they got into the situation. Virginia deserved to be in the ACC championship game. They managed their schedule. They won games that mattered. They weren't a part of the tiebreaker. They were securely in. And if it was Virginia versus Miami or Virginia versus Georgia Tech, I think, it would have been a pretty competitive team that comes out of the ACC to go to the college football playoffs. It doesn't work out that way. And then obviously we get Miami in, which is obviously a kind of a sigh of relief, like you mentioned, that the ACC is going to have a competitive team, because the ACC eats itself alive every year. This is not new. This happens all the time. It's a really good league. The bottom's always, poor, as many conferences are, but the top, there's never been, even maybe back when, Florida State, Clemson, now that they've been struggling, there's not been that top dog that's going to eat through wins year in and year out. And instead what you have is the ACC eating itself alive, really competitive games, really competitive teams. It's just they just look poor on paper because of the losses that they have to each other.
Yeah, and it really showed itself there in the championship game, fittingly so, as you mentioned, this being a dog-eat-dog world. Let's hear from head coach Tony Elliott on the last play of the ACC title game.
The 15-yard penalty there that carried over in overtime kind of puts you in that friend zone where you're trying to get a chunk play. And so that's where you have most of your plays like that designed in that area. So it kind of puts you back there. But I'm sure that we all want that play back, but their guy made a play, and hats off to Duke for winning the game.
Nolan, obviously it was a tough loss for Virginia in that game and the way that it ended in overtime, but in my opinion, what I see a lot on the college basketball side of things is, for example, a team misses the tournament and then goes to the NIT and then kind of just lays an egg, so to speak, in the first round and is a first-round exit. Do you expect this Virginia team to be focused or still kind of dwelling on, man, we just missed the playoff?
I think what's impressed me so far is especially with the recent news with the Missouri quarterback, is the fact that nobody's entered the transfer portal. They've had 5 guys entered. And I was looking at it earlier today. None of them really played all that much. Probably one guy that saw a lot of action, Deshaun Prevard, entered the portal. He's really the only guy that had significant minutes this year for UVA. So it seems like everyone's bought in. Chandler Morris, I think, applied for an extra year of eligibility. So the excitement around UVA is absolutely there, and they surprised themselves this year, I think, with their success, and that's brought even more energy into the Virginia Cavaliers program. I mean, this is the best season they've had since 1990. So it's all this excitement is coming at the right time, and there's some serious momentum around the Cavaliers program, and I think that's probably why we haven't seen that many players enter the portal and seem to be excited about the opportunity to play in a quite frankly, a prestigious bowl game like the Gator Bowl.
Yeah, it's a Gator Bowl against a really good team, and you see right there in one of their running backs, and they have 2 really good ones, really led by Ahmad Hardy, and this is a team that really likes to run the football, and I'm not sure where Missouri's headspace is going into this game as well, a lot like Virginia, but it feels like 2 teams that can really use a win to springboard into next season, and with real confidence, not just a lot of hot air like it is for a lot of teams. Defensively for this Virginia team, what do you want to see from these guys as they take on a team that will really try to run the football right at you?
Yeah, Virginia defensively has looked a lot different over the past few weeks. Cam Robinson was kind of their top dog at linebacker all season. I mean, there was talks at 6 or 7 weeks into the year that he could be the ACC Player of the Year, the way that he played. He got the big safety against Washington State that secured a win. He's out for the rest of the year, and you've seen that defensively for Virginia. They've taken a step back ever since he's been off the field. They have a pretty good secondary. Ethan Minters, their starting safety. He's from the Richmond area and is a stud back there. Devin Neal was a transplant at safety as well. He's been really good this season. Tony Elliott did a really good job in the portal last year. They brought in Mitchell Melton, a defensive end, won a state, or rather national championship with Ohio State last year, and their defense incredibly improved from a year ago, but definitely has taken a step back since the loss of Cam Robinson and all ACC back.
Nolan, I mean, we'll spin it forward to next year's schedule here real quick before we let you go. I know there's a lot of talk about some ACC teams playing 8 games, some ACC teams playing 9 games in conference, and the whole tiebreaker is wonky. You know, I'm an ACC guy at heart, so I'm just as shocked as everyone else is. But when you look at the schedule, I mean, it looks pretty manageable outside of Syracuse at home. And then away, you've got Virginia Tech, Florida State, SMU. But the one that really sticks out to me is NC State in Brazil. What's the hype around the program with that one?
I don't know. It kind of came out, and then nobody really reported on it, or it wasn't official, right, for a few weeks. And so there was kind of this, question marks. Is this really going to happen? And then it comes out this week that game is now going to be a conference game, because you might remember earlier this year Virginia had lost to NC State, but it was a non-conference game that they just wanted to schedule against each other. Now that turns into an official conference game. I don't know if they're going to send me down to Brazil. I mean, that would be pretty cool. I don't know much Portuguese, but
do you have your passport?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
yes,
I have the passport. I just need the will. I need the way, not the will.
It'll be great stuff. I hope you get down there. Is it playing at the same stadium where the Chiefs and Chargers open up this year? I'm guessing it's the same venue.
Yeah, I guess so. There's not that many details out. It's kind of this futuristic, what's going to happen with this thing? It's
like
going to look
nobody's
strange.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they got the turf situation figured out, because I remember that was a problem 2 years ago with the Eagles game.
Yeah. Hopefully that all works out and you get a nice trip there to Rio or wherever in Brazil this game will be played. Nolan, this is neither here nor there, but I was born in Fairfax, Virginia, and about 2 years ago, Virginia would lose every bet that I had. So Virginia was on my no bet list forever. And it was just like, whether I was betting on them or fading them, they would find a way to make me lose money all the time. So I feel a kinship to Virginia because of where I was born. I feel a kinship, an extended kinship, because now you've been on this program and you were great. But I'll continue not to bet on Virginia in this game, for or against there in the Gator Bowl.
Yeah, they've been hard to predict for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Nolan, thank you so much for your time here. We really appreciate it here on Southeast Sports Plus.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.